What if Dracula wasn't something Bram Stoker imagined? What if it was something he survived? Welcome back to Ink Drinkers Anonymous, where I read a ton so you don't have to unless you want to. In which case, let's spiral together today over Dracul. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Dracul? Help. Dracul is how I'm going to say it for the rest of this, is a prequel to the well-known story Dracula, written by the great-grandnephew, who I also don't know how to pronounce his name, of Bram Stoker himself, along with J.D. Barker, a modern thriller writer. And I haven't read any of his stuff, but this made me want to go back and maybe check out his catalog. It is also an epistolary format in the vein of Dracula itself. It is based on Bram Stoker's actual journals and letters between him and his siblings from when he was a young boy, and he was a very sick young boy. Take some rumored family stories, as well as weaving in some vampiric gothic fiction, and this is where we land. We get Dracul. This book makes you realize how Bram Stoker could have experienced the supernatural when he was young. And weaving together all the fiction and reality and family lore gives it a this totally could have happened vibe. It feels genuinely rooted in the original mythology. Not a retelling, but a very believable origin story. The horror is atmospheric versus jumpy. Again, like the original. Slow dread, creeping illness, religious panic, strange caretakers, and the fear of what might be lurking beyond closed doors. And I feel like the epistolary structure works really well here. It adds legitimacy, and when it switches between voices, it keeps the narrative momentum. The gothic tropes are all lovingly applied. Child frailty, as I said, Bram Stoker was famously very sick as a child. We've got superstition versus faith. The power of stories and the idea that the truth is too terrifying to publish very plainly. So for the pacing, this is not a thriller. It is a gothic novel. The pacing sways like a slow funeral procession through a fog. And there are moments where it drags. Got a little too slow for me. Had to give it a break. And especially if you prefer constant action, this may not be for you. But the tension is layered, it's not rushed. Personally, for the most part, I sink into it like a velvet chair in an old Gothic library that's probably haunted. So Dracul doesn't try and reinvent the myth. It treats the original with reverence and quietly expands on it. It feels like discovering the hidden preface that maybe somebody ripped out of Dracula before publishing. If you love the original for its eerie realism and the documentary-like storytelling, I think this will scratch the same itch with a little bit of fresh dread. Overall, I gave the book 4 stars. It is a richly atmospheric vampire novel and a great origin story, very worthy of spooky season. It's a little long, so hurry up and check it out so you can complete it by Halloween. I expect deep discussions about this. Let's go. Just kidding, but I would love if you would spiral with me. And if you want to hear more about spooky books or any other books in general, I read all over the place, please subscribe. And we can geek out together about literature.